All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're doing a deep dive into Losh Curry's unbelievably raw track, Ijazat Do. And we're going to track a massive emotional arc here, going from pure, absolute devotion all the way to devastating betrayal. This isn't just a song, it's really an anatomy of a heartbreak. It's an intensely personal look at what actually happens when you just give everything to someone else. Let's get started.
Listen to this striking lyrical promise. I will quit alcohol for you. Just say the word. Boom, we're skipping the pleasantries and jumping right into the deep end here, aren't we? This hook instantly establishes the unbelievably high stakes of this guy's love. I mean, he's not just offering some casual affection, he's literally offering a complete overhaul of his life and his vices. It immediately sets the tone for the kind of massive sacrifices he's willing to make.
So that brings us to Act 1, the plea for permission.
Okay, so the track's title, Ijazat, translates to permission. And throughout the song, there's this desperate, repeated motif where he's constantly asking for consent to love her, to serve her, and to change for her. But to really get what's happening here, we have to talk about this core concept, samarpan. It means complete and absolute surrender. He isn't asking for your standard everyday relationship, no way. He is asking for permission to surrender his entire being completely. He wants to transcend mere physical attraction to reach the state of absolute spiritual devotion, where his own ego just ceases to exist.
Just think about the sheer scale of the promises being made here and the deeper thematic meanings behind them. Writing a book, that's not just about words, it's about immortalizing her in art. Promising to never let go of her hand means eternal, unwavering support. Quitting alcohol represents this total personal reformation. And honestly, the most intense one for me is when he speaks of kissing her forehead to become pure. He's actively seeking spiritual cleansing through her love. All of this, the whole shebang, just in exchange for her permission.
But man, love like that? It's a dangerous game. Have you ever ignored giant red flags for someone you loved? Because the lyrics heavily foreshadow the coming tragedy by revealing that society explicitly warned him. People literally told him, hey, be careful before drowning in the deep ocean of her eyes. He fully acknowledges that no ocean is bigger or deeper than her gaze, but despite all the external warnings from everyone around him, he chose to dive in anyway.
Which leads us right into Act 2, December and the betrayal.
This is the turning point where the whole romance just abruptly shatters. The lyrics actually map out this chronological heartbreak so cleanly. We start with those ignored warnings from society, right? Then the harsh, cruel month of December rolls in, and it's during this cold season that he gets the devastating news. He hears that she is getting married to someone else. And then the aftermath. A total fracture of his heart, his dreams, and literally every promise they shared. It moves so incredibly fast from a dream straight into a nightmare. And this line right here, absolutely chilling. The contrast is just brutal. While his entire universe is literally collapsing around him and his heart is shattering, he notes that she is getting married without a single worry. There isn't even a crease of guilt or anxiety on her forehead. The pain here is completely asymmetrical. He is bearing the full, crushing weight of the destruction while she just moves on flawlessly. Moving right along to Act 3, from gangster to Sufi. This betrayal triggers the most fascinating shift in the whole track. There's this stark lyrical juxtaposition. Before the heartbreak, he proudly wore this tough gangster persona, rebellious, completely fearless. But the betrayal, it literally kills that tough ego. And in its place, he's resurrected as a Sufi. He becomes broken, poetic, and starts singing these songs of mystical sorrow. The trauma has completely rewritten his psychological DNA.
He highlights this painful shift so perfectly. He admits, he's the same guy who once desperately craved just a single glimpse of her, willing to do absolutely anything to see her. But now he's so broken and so deeply ashamed of his own grief that he's actually started hiding his face from the world. That tough guy is completely gone, replaced by a man just hiding in the shadows. It really shows us how trauma doesn't just hurt you, it fundamentally changes who you are.
And that drops us right into Act 4, the weight of solitude.
So the adrenaline of that initial shock wears off, right? And what's left is this incredibly grim day-to-day reality. The lyrics paint this utterly bleak picture of his existence now. He finds himself habitually roaming her familiar streets, totally unable to break the routine of his past love. He sings about enduring these pitch-black, agonizing nights without her, feeling entirely incomplete. And perhaps the most haunting part, he describes the whole city acting as a silent witness to his grief. He's surrounded by millions of people, yet totally, completely alone in his suffering.
He really hammers home this isolation with this powerful line, "I have been wounded and haven't even received medicine." He took the ultimate emotional hit for this love. He dove headfirst into that ocean despite everyone warning him not to. But when he washed up on the shore, broken and bleeding, he was left utterly alone. No remedy, no comfort, not even medicine to heal his wounds.
Which brings us to our final chapter, Act 5, the final surrender. This is the culmination of the entire emotional journey. He finally stops fighting it and just fully surrenders. And honestly, this line gets me every time. Even with his life spiraling completely out of control, even with tears literally falling from his eyes, he proudly notes that he still protected her dignity. He never let a single stain touch her reputation. Even staring down absolute betrayal, his underlying promise of Samarpan, that total surrender and service to her, it remains strangely intact. He still protected her. And then we hit this devastating conclusion. He realizes that since her betrayal was so public, so incredibly blatant, sold off like a cheap commodity in the open market for everyone to see, well, holding on to his own sense of shame is just entirely pointless. That gangster who hid his face, he's gone. He steps right out into the light, fully accepting his brokenness. Just take a second to absorb that. He realizes that the shame belongs to the betrayal, not to the person who actually loved truly. So looking back at this whole journey, seeing a fearless gangster completely transformed into a broken, solitary poet who still protects the reputation of the person who broke him, we really have to ask ourselves, when unconditional love meets absolute betrayal, does the devotion truly die? Or does it simply change shape, becoming a different, much heavier kind of surrender? Thank you so much for walking through this emotional explainer with me today. Let that question sit with you for a while and keep seeking the deeper meanings in the art around you. See you next time.